How's it going, folks? Twitch from R.E.D Airsoft right here. I hope you had a fantastic week and a great weekend. Hopefully you guys have all been shooting. Fortunately, I haven't been shooting for a little while now. Neither has Pirate for that matter, but that will be changing very soon. Don't worry, we're going to get straight back onto it soon. But today, I just thought I wanted to have a chat about my other M4 that I have. There was a previous video, if you've seen it. The link will be there. My previous video where I talked about my G&G CM16 M4, the tan, which is a fantastic bit of kit. Talked about that and how much I like it, and obviously a few of the sort of mods I've done to it. So today I thought I would talk about my other M4, my Double Eagle M904e M4. That's a bloody big mouthful, that is. But yeah, so here she is in all her glory. It's a great bit of kit, this. I really do enjoy using this, especially for CQB, more sort of stuff. It's a lot shorter than the G&G. I mean, obviously the stock, I can make it longer if I need to, but I tend to run it like this in this configuration. So it's nice and small. It does make it a lot easier for getting around the corners, a lot quicker for CQB style stuff. We are going to be going to some really awesome CQB stuff as well, some awesome CQB sites at some point soon, so just keep your eyes out for that, because that's going to be really good fun. I'm looking forward to that. So is Pyro, so yeah. But anyway, as I say, so yeah, really nice bit of kit. Out of the box, it's brilliant. This is a really good starter for newbies to the sport, in my opinion. Out of the box, it works really well. I had no issues at all with it. It was kicking out about 250 to 260 FPS out of the box, and that was on 2.25s. 0.2s, it's probably going to be about 290-ish, which, isn't actually that bad, really, to be honest with you. Out of the box, it's not that bad at all. It's pretty accurate as well out of the box. I have done some mods, and I'll sort of go through them in a sec. But out of the box, it's a really nice bit of kit. It's a decent weight to it. It is poly, apart from the inner barrel, and obviously the gearbox. But it has got a decent weight to it. It feels really good when you're actually shooting it. The trigger is lovely on this. One of my more favourite things with this is the fact that it is a electronic trigger, what I call a binary trigger. So you've got different modes. Obviously you've got your standard safe, semi, and full auto. But you can change the trigger settings to almost whatever you want. So you can change it to a burst mode. And you can actually change that burst mode between one shot, kind of pointless, but between one shot and 5 shot burst. So you can have it 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shot, or 5 shot burst. I don't really use it that much. I prefer using semi-auto most of the time, and occasionally I might use the full auto, but very rarely do I use full auto anyway. But having that burst mode is a really nice thing to have on there. Especially again for CQB stuff. Yeah, CQB. It can help. It can help quite a bit having that, especially just a normal 3-shot burst. Pull the trigger, bip. Yeah, it does make it quite a nice little thing. It's a nice little feature to have. You can also adjust the sensitivity of the actual trigger itself. So I think there's three different modes to sensitivity. You can have it so that you have to pull the trigger virtually all the way back before it fires. Same with, you can have it towards the middle, or you can have it so that you literally barely have to tap it and it will fire. I have mine in the middle ground, just because that's where I like it. I like to, I like to feel myself pulling the trigger back when it fires, it's just it's a nice little clunk as well. So the other thing is, as I say, it's got a binary trigger, so you can actually set this up so that when you release the trigger, it will fire as well. So bog standard, semi-auto, pull the trigger, release it, it will fire once you pull the trigger, it fires, release it, that's it. Pull the trigger, fires, that's it. Binary, you can set it up so that you pull the trigger, it fires, you release the trigger, it fires again. Now, it can cause, every so often you might get that odd Karen player who will moan that you're on full auto when you shouldn't be because of it, because if you have got a very quick trigger finger, then it can seem like you are almost firing full auto when you're actually not meant to be, but obviously you're not. So, just be careful of that. It can occasionally cause someone to moan at you, but other than that, it is quite a nice feature. Again, I have actually used that one. I have used it a few times. I really like using it. Again, it's just that extra bit of fire that, especially when you're trying to give somebody cover fire for moving, getting into cover, or suppressive fire. Even when you're just moving into buildings, going from a woodland into a building, it's quite nice having that extra fire. Obviously you do also have to be careful of it, because it does mean that, if you go to fire once and you let go, it will fire again, even if you don't intend to. So just obviously be careful of that. But nonetheless, it is a really nice feature to have, and I do like playing with the different settings it has. It just makes it a little bit more enjoyable. You can tweak it to how you like it. So it's quite a nice little feature. So yeah, I said earlier on, I have done some mods to this. You can probably see the most obvious one, which is said barrel on the end here. This is actually a tracer unit. It's the Ace-Tech Blaster, I believe. Really nice bit of kit. Pirate and his breacher, he actually modified the hop unit inside so that it's got a tracer unit sort of built into the hop, which is nice. It's really nice. It looks really cool. And you can keep the gun completely sort of original. Then you don't have to add anything else onto it to make it work with the tracer units. It's really cool. It's nice and compact and hidden. But obviously it does run off the battery internally, which, whether that makes any difference or not, I don't know. Pirate is thinking about changing his breacher so that he's got an external battery for the tracer unit, because he thinks it might make it a bit better, but we'll see. We don't know yet until we try it. But no, this is a wicked bit of kit. It's USB rechargeable, so you don't have to mess about having big bulky batteries or anything like that on the side. As far as I'm aware, it will once you charge it, it will last an entire day of gaming. I haven't used it for the whole day's worth of gaming yet, but when we go to some CQB sites soon, obviously I will be, so I'll let you know. But yeah, it's really nice. It looks really nice as well. It looks the part. It's nice and short. It's really easy to operate. You literally just unscrew the actual unit itself on here, and then you've got, that's the unit, that's the inside. You've got the USB for charging it, and there's also a little button in there which you can change, turn it on and off obviously, and change the settings. So it has 3 modes to it. The first is obviously just tracer mode. So when you put tracer BBs in, they will light up, glow in the dark kind of thing. It then has a flash mode, so it will sort of look like a muzzle flash when you fire it. Again, just makes it a little bit more sort of realism there. And then you have third option of both tracer and the muzzle flash at the same time, which is quite cool actually. I did use it a little while ago over at Dog Tag in the trenches, and quite a few people commented on it actually that they really liked it. They thought it was actually really cool, especially having the muzzle flash on it. It just looks really cool. The downside is you can't really hide when you use it. Obviously people are going to see where you are and where you're shooting from, so if you plan to try and be sneaky, and hide, and maybe put one of these, not necessarily on a sniper, but hide in the bush and pick people out one at a time and kind of sniper, then it's not going to work, because people will see where you are. But other than that, it is an awesome bit of kit. I really like it. It actually looks really good with this Double Eagle as well. You know, it kind of fits the part. You can get it in black, but I went for dual tan, and I just think it looks really, really nice in tan, you know, so adds a bit of colour and makes it a little bit different. So the other thing that's obvious is sight on top, so red dot sight, red or green dot. There's no zoom on this sight whatsoever. It's literally just the red or green dot, but again, can be useful sometimes. I actually don't tend to use it that much. I tend to watch where the BBs are going, so probably think I might as well just have an iron sight, but I just think this looks better than iron sights. So, but I do use it occasionally. To be fair, it does need tweaking a little bit, you know, adjusting it to make it a bit more accurate to where the actual BBs are going. But other than that, like, it's a nice bit of kit. It's a nice thing to have on there. This is actually the one that came with the G&G CM16 I've got. This came with that gun. And I originally had my proper zoom scope on top of this, but obviously I swapped them over because this is CQB. I don't need a 32 times zoom on a CQB gun because it's just pointless, you know. So, but no, this looks really nice on top here. The other thing you can see is my GoPro. So I run a Hero 8 Black. That's what pretty much all of the footage you've seen so far from our gameplay days is actually filmed on this. It's normally in Pirate's position, but I've got it at the moment just so I'm doing some work and some other bits and bobs. And then once we get back to playing, he will be borrowing it again. But he has got some stuff of his own coming. He has got some cameras of his own cameras coming soon. And I believe he's got like 3 or 4 of them coming. So he's going to have like gun cam, face cam, chest cam, head cam, cam everywhere. So loads and loads of different angles on the gameplay footage. So it's going to be really cool to see how that works out, you know. And obviously while he's using them, I'm then going to be back to using this myself. The mount I've got is a Fantasil, just something I bought off of Amazon for like 20 quid. You know, it works really well because as you can see, it's off to one side. So obviously you can still use the scope. Some people don't like these types of mounts. Same as using GoPros, you know, a lot of people nowadays prefer using things like the run cams because obviously they're really sleek, really slim. You know, they're not going to get in the way of anything. Yeah, the run cams are really nice, don't get me wrong. I will probably invest in one myself at some point. I do really like them, and I did borrow one a couple of weeks ago from someone. But I still think, in my opinion, GoPros are better, mainly for the stabilization. You know, you can literally be sprinting across a field or diving into a building or whatever, and it's so stable, unlike any other camera where you get the shake. You know, with these, you just don't get that, you know. So I think I'll always prefer using one of these, especially for filming. I might use, you know, a run cam in the future, but for now, I'm going to stick to my GoPros. That I just think they're just so much better. The other thing I've got on here next to that is an external battery pack, which is actually for the GoPro. Again, this was bought on Amazon. I bought it as you get 2. This one I bought, I got 2 of them on Amazon. But what's holding it is a bracket, a holder that I 3D printed and designed myself. As you can see, it's still got the Picatinny sort of rail fitting just there with a bolt and nut holding it on. This was very quick, very easy to produce. But you know, it's just friction fit for the actual external battery pack. That just slots in there. You know, it ain't gonna move. It's in there pretty solid. I'll then just have a small cable from there coming out to the other side to the GoPro itself. So I get, you know, whole day's worth of footage on there rather than having to keep changing batteries. I've got 3 batteries for the GoPro, but even they don't last the whole day, you know. I've got a 556 megabyte card or whatever it is that literally gives me like 8 hours worth of footage, but the batteries don't last even half of that. Hence why I've got the external battery pack, just so it does, and then that way I don't ever run out of footage, basically. obviously, just so you can see, I've got an M4 mag here. Fits any M4 mag, I believe. These are just bog standard mid caps, which I got for like 15 quid a pop. But you know, fits really well. It's a nice solid fit. Once it's in there, you know, it just looks really cool. I just really like the look of this gun. You know, quick. You know, I just like the look, the feel. You know, it goes with the kind of style that I like to play. You do have the ejection handle to get into the hop-up unit, which is in there. So I have got my sling mount on this as well. I normally have a sling around my neck. That's what clips onto it. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a clip up here where I would prefer it to be. I just haven't got around to buying the actual part to go on there yet, but I will at some point. But for now, it goes on the back there nicely. It's absolutely fine on there. I can then just clip it to myself, and then obviously I can literally just throw this to one side to pull my pistol out when I need it. So yeah, so external mods. The internal mods, I've done a couple of things to this internally, which obviously you can't see. The very first thing I did was change the barrel, the inner barrel. So I think originally it comes with a 215mm barrel, which I believe is like 6.04, I think. It was actually really hard to find what this comes with out the box, so I ended up just measuring it. Yeah, this thing's about 6.04, and the end of it flares out quite wide. So although it's got a decent amount of power out of the box, and again it's fairly accurate, that wide opening where it flares out does create a lot of sort of bouncing around in that for the BB. So I decided to go for a tight bore barrel, which is a 6.02 or an 03, I can't remember. I think it's an 03. But anyway, tight bore barrel went in there, but it's also slightly longer, the one that was in there. So that was a 215. I think this is like a 250 or something like that. So it's actually, you know, slightly longer, but it's amazing. That made a lot of difference, especially with mainly with the accuracy. It was a lot more accurate. The grouping was a lot tighter. You know, from about sort of 15-20 meters, you get really nice grouping. Even 30 meters away, it was still pretty accurate. So the second thing I did, or the only other thing I did internally, was actually replace the spring in this. So one of the things I really liked about this, it's actually one of the reasons why I got this one in the first place as my first sort of main M4, was that it's a quick change spring system. Basically what that means is to change the spring internally, all you have to do, obviously, take the stock part off, take that off. There's a screw inside here, so you put a really long Allen key, I think it was, inside there, undo it, the whole back end of the stock comes off, and then you put a flat screwdriver or something in, twist it, a little metal piece pops out with the spring. All you then do is swap the spring over, pop the metal piece back in, screw this back onto it, and that's it. It literally does take about 5 minutes to change the spring on this. That's one of the reasons why I went for this one, because again, it's such an easy bit of kit for modding. Pirate's Colt, he recently gave that to me. If I can find it, here's a picture. Because he wanted to change the spring in that, and I thought, yeah, great, fine. You know, he's fairly competent. He should be able to do that, no problem. 2 days later, I get a phone call from him. Help, gun's in pieces. Sent me a picture. Literally, his gun was in a million pieces on the floor. He couldn't figure out how to put it back together again. He just about managed to get the spring in, but couldn't actually put it back together because the spring that came out of it was like that. The spring that went in was like that long. you know, much longer. So yeah, I ended up getting it. He literally gave it to me in a bag, just pieces. So I then had to piece it back together again, and obviously try and fix it. You know, which I did. Don't get me wrong, I did. It took a while, but it was a real ball ache. You know, to do that, to change the spring in his Colt, you had to dismantle the entire thing. You had to dismantle the gearbox to get into it, and it was just a ball ache, just real pain. You know, I say I did it in the end, and you know, it's back with him. It's actually still not working because a fuse had blown. There's an internal fuse that blew up, which I've now got replacement fuses for him. So we'll get that in, and it'll start working again. But yeah, it's just a real pain, you know. So when I was looking and I saw this, and I saw that it's a quick change spring system, I thought, perfect, banging, I'm going to get it. And that's what I ended up doing as well with this, is change the spring. So I believe it comes with an M95 spring. Don't ask me what rating that is. I think it's like right down the bottom scale of spring strength. But I changed it to a 105, M105, after a bit of research. You know, and there's loads of charts you can find online that basically would explain the different springs, strengths and stuff. But I went for a 105, and my God, did it make a difference, like really make a difference. And you know, it went from 260, 270 stock FPS to about 330, 335 FPS stock FPS, and you know, that's made such a massive difference with the range, and again the accuracy as well. You know, was just phenomenal. So, and that's, you know, changing a spring is quite a cheap, easy thing to do on this. You know, it's like 15 quid for a spring, maybe 20 quid. And it's 10 minutes worth of taking a couple of screws out to change it, you know. So I definitely think if anybody actually were to get one of these, which I really do recommend, I'll leave the link down below because I got it from Patrol Base. So, but I definitely recommend changing the spring over inside. Again, it's so simple to do it. There is a couple of videos on YouTube, I believe, that shows you how to do it anyway. But yeah, 10 minutes, change the spring over. It will be so much better. It will just be sweet as anything. So yeah, definitely recommend doing that. I think that's it, to be fair. I don't think there's much more else to say. I mean, I say it is a really good bit of kit. It's under 150 quid to buy, you know, so it's again, it's pretty cheap compared to others out there, especially as a first gun out of the box. It's a really good bit of kit. So yeah, definitely do recommend this Double Eagle M904e with the binary trigger. As I say, as always, I'll leave the links down below for this and the any other stuff that's on there and I can think of. I'll leave links down below. Don't forget, guys, I've still got the bits on Etsy for sale, which is at the moment the M4 M4 inserts, which will just make life 20 times easier getting your mags in and out. They're still for sale. Don't forget, again, link will be down below. And I think that's it. So have another fantastic weekend of shooting. If you guys manage to get out this weekend, hopefully we shall see you all on the field soon. Twitch out.